Hello and welcome to Seasons of the Wolf Bad Blood. I am RMP792 and, I think this is the first time I've ever done DLC on its own. Why am I doing it? Because I happen to like Seasons of the Wolf and I figured that, screw it, might as well. So, if you haven't seen the main Let's Play of Seasons of the Wolf, I would recommend that you watch that first. This DLC apparently effectively continues on from right after. I basically loaded up my previous save and just carried on. I had to redo a couple of bits of stuff because I didn't save right before the end credits, but, that was only mildly annoying. So, as I said, we will be continuing on from the end of the main Let's Play. If you don't want to go watch that, I will just give you a quick rundown of choices that I made. Most notably, I was playing as Althea, and my romance choice was Shalasa, and I also completed the side quest to save her soul. So, I think that's the main stuff you need to know off the top of my head. Yeah, probably. So, a couple of quick notes about my Let's Play style for anyone who has not watched my stuff before. I record all these videos a week in advance. So there is very little point giving me tactical advice or anything like that, because odds are I will have finished the game by the time I read any of your comments. I do read each and every comment, for the record, and if you wish to answer any of the random bizarre things that I may ask or say during the videos, please feel absolutely free to, but be advised that because my brain tends to ramble on in bizarre ways, I will have completely forgotten what I said. As a result, I am perfectly happy for you to answer my questions, but please timestamp the point in the video at which you're actually referring to, otherwise I'm just going to get very confused. Admittedly, very confused is kind of my normal operating mode, but anyway. So, I think that's everything for my opening spiel, so let's get on with Bad Blood. Once you play the DLC Bad Blood to the end, you can pick a romance to the menu. Okay. Now, I will warn you in advance, I will try and remain consistent with the voices I used for the main game, but frankly, you're lucky if I manage to remain consistent while playing the main game, so... This concludes my account of the 4 years I spent travelling the continent of Zoltar. But by no means is it finished, as I'm planning to return there in a decade or two, to see what changes time and the efforts of men have brought to these strange and wondrous lands, and how those I fared left behind. Those I left behind fared. I'm an idiot. However, there is one thing that I have not included in the travelogue of mine so far, and now, 3 years after it has come to pass, I have finally decided to follow my conscience and tell it. You may remember, my readers, how I told you of my first visit to Ninim. In the company of the Snow Elves, Althea, Shay, and Valus, and the humans Krim, Riley, Shalasa, and Rowinda, I recounted how the 8 of us discovered the multiple nature of the threat that had befallen the village, and how our combined efforts saved Ninim from destruction. In that, I was not entirely truthful. We did, in fact, stop both the Grand Mogul Rafiq's efforts to capture shapeshifters for his arena, and the Wizard Cabal's attempt to drive Nimin's inhabitants away. However, when we had first arrived in Nimin, we had fought and killed several shapeshifters ourselves, when we attempted to rescue the village healer, Shagala. These misdeeds had not been forgotten by the packmates of the shapeshifters, and even though we had made peace with Father Bear, the oldest of them, they still demanded vengeance. Father Bear stood against them and, true to his word, fought them back when they attacked. However, there were too many for him, and eventually he was killed. He had bought us enough time to get everybody safely out of Nimin, though, and when the shapeshifters finally arrived, not a living soul was left. In their fury, the beasts tore down every wall they could find, every house, every roof, until eventually the village had been reduced to a pile of rubble. The shapeshifters considered their blood avenged and returned back to the spirit world, but the denizens of Nimin had lost their homes. Fortunately, they found a safe haven with us, on the clearing where Althea and Shay rediscovered their father and brother, and it was there that they built their shelters to get them through the winter. There wasn't much time to gather supplies, but with the combined efforts of everyone, we all made it through the winter, and surprisingly the wind and cold seemed less deadly on the clearing than in the rest of the forest. I can only attribute this to the special link this place has to the spirit world, since part of the Grand Tree are similar. So now I have told you of the destruction of Ninim at the paws and teeth of shapeshifters. I can tell you what came to pass in the spring that followed. The restoration of Ninim, and the shameful tale of my terrible mistake that almost sealed the fates of Althea and Shay. And I hope you shall understand why I have been reluctant to share these events with you so far. It was near the end of winter, with the first snowdrops breaking out of the ground, when we returned to Ninim, or rather, the place where Ninim had been before the shapeshifters had raised it. Councillor Elder Morala and Guard Captain Danoros had a handful of the town guard with us to assess the damage done. Oh dear! Oh dear! Absolutely. Not much of your village left, is there? The tavern. They even wrecked the tavern! I doubt it meant much to them, Shay. It was just another house built by those who had slain their kin. Not one log left standing on the other. What terrible, terrible creatures! But there's nothing that can be done to rebuild. There's nothing that cannot be rebuilt, Elder Nimara. There is a lot of work ahead of us, but we can remake Ninim once again. Though I doubt it will be that easy. Much of the wood has broken, and as far as I can see, the snow and ice will not have made the rest any better. So you're saying it's no longer possible to undo the damage? Well, there's not enough left to repair anything, so we'll have to build everything again from scratch. I doubt we've got enough wood here for that. And the situation is even worse when you look at the stones left. Most of them have gotten cracked from the frost. They're no longer solid enough to build with. You could melt them down and make new stones out of them, couldn't you? Melt them down? Certainly! How hot do you need to make the fire for something like that? Oh, I'm certain a volcano would suffice. A volcano? Sure! Here? In Ninim? Sure! You would propose a volcano right in the middle of our town? Sure! But what if it erupts? Everything will be destroyed. Can't get any worse than it is already, can it? Rowinda, no volcanoes. This would be the perfect time to... No volcanoes! Aww. Speaking of destruction, shouldn't the first thing you rebuild be that wooden wall around the town? The palisade, you're right. We will definitely need that back if we want to live in safety again. You would start with the palisade? I would, Elder Mirana. But where will we live? Right underneath the sky? My people have lived in tents since the first great tribes. They give you good protection against the rain, the wind, the storm, if you know how to build them. We can't live in tents, it'll be freezing cold. Ugh, don't be a sissy. Grim! You... Elder Mariala, Krim didn't mean to offend you. She was raised among a people that value strength and endurance. But not common courtesy, it seems. Her advice is sound, though. With the furs and leathers we have from our winter huts, we can indeed build tents to keep the cold out. And you needn't worry about firewood. Shapeshifters left sufficient kindling for you to burn. That's the ruins of our town you're talking about. They will still make good firewood. In any case, Elder Miriala, I agree with Krim's assessment about the palisade. We should focus our efforts on that. Do you really think living in tents will work? We could set up enough tents for everyone quickly. A day or two should be enough. Another week of work, and the palisade should be up again. And once the palisade stands, we can begin rebuilding the houses, and we haven't the entire year for that. So that is your assessment of the situation? It is, Elder. In that case, I'll return to the council now. We will try to come to an agreement as soon as possible. As you will, Sheldar. Take the guardsmen with you. You're not coming, Danaris? Not yet. I'd like to see how much of the town's ruins are still usable for the reconstruction of the palisade. Then you do that. Guards, with me! Shouldn't we accompany them too? I mean, just in case something happens. You're free to go anywhere you want to. However, Valus, if you would stay for a few more minutes. Oh? I would like a word in private with you. Something wrong? No, nothing wrong at all. Alright then, what's it about? Not in front of the others. Come with me for a moment. You mean not in front of Shalasa, right? You still don't trust me, that's what this is about. Shalasa, love, I'm certain that's not what he meant. Some of my people are still a little worried about you, yes, but Daenerys is not one of them. Sorry, Dolores, I don't keep secrets from my friends. Either you tell me here in front of them, or I'll tell you what you said afterwards. Your choice. Alright then, if you're comfortable with it. Valus, what would you say if I offered to let you join the Guard? Well, I can't say that's a big surprise considering how much we already worked together this winter, and as my second in command. What? Valus, you have the talent to lead people, anyone could see that, and the safety of others is your greatest concern. You have all the skills you need for the job. But are you sure? I am. I can't think of a better person. You're strong, you're brave, competent, and you don't mind following orders. Perfect second in command, if you ask me. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Valus. Definitely say yes, Valus. I agree. You've always been the backbone of our group during your journeys, and the town guard would profit much from your experience. And I pity the fool who breaks the peace if it is you who keeps it. An old lady like me could safely walk on the streets outside if someone like you watches over it. And if somebody was ever accused of, say, cheating at a game of cards, you wouldn't throw him in jail, would you? Well, if you all think I'm the right person for the position, we do, Valus. Well, then I suppose I can't quite refuse, can I? You can always refuse. It's your choice. I admit I was expecting that sort of reaction from your friends. That's somewhat why I wanted to talk to you in private. Oh. So that your choice wouldn't be influenced by what they say. Well, my answer would still have been the same. Yes. Woohoo! Great. It's good to know we can rely on you, Valus. It's a great honour. Second in command. Well, to be honest, the city guard was always something I wanted to be a part of, if it had not been for the captain. So when does he get his uniform and everything? Althea, always so impatient. Well, the uniform will have to wait until we've made new uniforms, or we've found one in sufficient condition underneath all that snow. But I could start with the job as soon as the council agrees your appointment to the town guard. Wait, the council needs to agree to something like that? Of course they do. The council rules Ninim, and the guard acts on their authority. Oh, but that's only a formality. I see no reason why the council should say anything other than yes here. No, 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 no! Well, Lauronius, calm down. That is Councillor Lauronius to you, Captain! I apologize, Councillor. I did not mean to. I know it must be difficult for you to accept the many changes we've had, Captain, but the village elected me to follow in Malagar's seat. I certainly didn't vote for him, sister. Neither did I, brother. Hush, you two. Of course I respect your office, Councillor Lauronius. However, it is within my authority to ask the council for a vote on a new second-in-command of the guard. I did not know that a single councillor had the right to block such a vote. You are correct, Captain Lauronius. If you request a decision, we are obliged to give you one. But not if that decision would mean foregoing another decision of much greater concern. What are you speaking of? The council knows what I'm speaking of. It's the same thing I mentioned that I've motioned them to decide all winter. Yes, I see. Unfortunately, I do not. Council Elder, what is this other decision of much greater concern? It's the question of whether Valus should be allowed to remain in Ninim at all. What? Councillor Elder, I don't understand. We need to keep our town safe. We need strong arms for that. How is Valus's presence a concern? Captain, the presence of everybody in the company of Valus is a matter of grave concern to our town, especially his adopted family, the twins. Hey! I mean, you cannot seriously overlook the problems these two have brought with them upon their return, can you? We can hear you, you know. Hush, Shay. I mean, just think about the company they brought with them. A barbarian savage, a notorious trickster, a dangerous lunatic, and a demon child. Shalasa is not a demon child. Shush! Well, the green elf they brought with them is not unkind. His tales have entertained us through many a winter's night. That may be, but the snow's not even melted, and he's already talking of leaving to continue his journeys. Unlike the others, he will not stay with us. Althea, get Jariel here, quickly. Understood. I think it is safe to say that the bad the twins have brought upon us far outweighs the good. Councillor, I disagree. Think about the last few months. And it was then that Althea found me. Jariel, we need you. What happened? There are about They're about to throw us out. Who? And out of where? The council, and out of the village. What? Why? It's Laronius. He doesn't want Valus to come second in command of the guard, and he's doing all he can to get him thrown out of the village, and us with him. But that's a mistake. I know. Please, can you help us? Of course I can. Let me speak with them. Thanks, Jariel. We hurried back to the place where the council had assembled. And even if you consider those events just accidents, they still prove that foreigners cannot really adapt to our lifestyle. But that is still no reason why, of all people, you would want Valus gone from our community as well, and along with him Althea and Shay. Oh, Captain Denorius, can you truly honestly say you didn't have any suspicions of your own? What suspicions? Think about it. All the misfortune that befell Ninim since last winter, how did it all begin? It started with the twins getting on the bad side of our valued partners in trade. You speak of the Dingarian slavers. And with them Valus in his usual overconfidence foolishly trying to help them. So what you're saying is that all the bad that befell us last year is the fault of Althea, Shay, and Valus. Thank you for so eloquently summarizing my words. Councillor, this is ridiculous. Oh, why so? Is it just me, or his voice is becoming more and more, complete and utter dick as I go on? I don't mean to do that, it's just... it happens. Our community was attacked by 3-headed fire-breathing dogs and 20-foot-high stags. How will that be related to these 3 people getting in trouble with Dingaria? It is their blood. What? Althea and Shay are the children of Moran, and you know the trouble and sorrow he caused for us. His legacy lives on in the twins. And it's this legacy that has led supernatural beasts to Ninim? Is that what you're saying? All evidence speaks for it, doesn't it? Councillor, if you'd allow me a word. I'm sorry, Jariel Greenguard, but we are currently discussing a matter of internal affairs. Outsiders are not usually allowed to speak in these... I would like to hear what the Green Elf has to say, Councillor. Of course, Councillor Elder. Thank you very much, Councillor Elder Miralia. I think I may offer a bit of wisdom here that may help the Council in coming to a good decision. The Council shall hear you out, Jariel. You think you can convince them, Valus? If anyone can, it's Jariel, Althea. He is good at these things. Councillor Laronius, you've made a very important point. I did? You mentioned that in order to come to the right decision about Althea and Shay, the Council needed to take their heritage into account. Their blood, so to speak. Ah, yes, of course I did. In any other case, I would have considered that a mistake. Common knowledge dictates that a person cannot be held accountable for the deeds or misdeeds of their parents. Here, however, the situation is different. One should, in fact, remember who Althea and Shay's parents were. More specifically, who their mother was. I object! Their mother is long dead, and didn't you also pronounce their father dead last year? Clever. What's he doing, Valus? People never liked Moran much, but everybody loved your mother, Shay. Jariel's reminding everyone what you meant to Ninim. Oh. Think back to the winter that now lies behind us. And yes, it started horribly. The destruction of your town, the loss of your worldly possessions. But how did it turn out? Did you not all find safety and shelter here, deep in the forest, among trees that provided you protection and warmth? Trees aglow with natural wild magic that kept out danger and harm, and that made certain every single one of you survived. Malagar did not survive. His voice turned completely evil there. Councillor Malagar died peacefully of old age, and this community found a worthy successor in you, Councillor Laronius, didn't it? Well, I can't deny that. Nature can be a fickle host. That's common knowledge in Grandtree, and you've also lived in the wilderness for all your lives. You know how unpredictable it can become. Yet this winter, nature has welcomed us all, right here at the heart of its magic in this enchanted glade. Why do you think it did that? I shall tell you why it did. It did so because of Althea and Shay, and because of their mother. Yeah? Jariel, I'm afraid you may have lost us here. I believe I speak for all of us when I must ask you to clarify what you've said. Of course, Councillor Elder, it's actually quite easy to explain. This glade here is where the natural power of the forest is strongest, and nature has a life of its own, and this life manifests in natural spirits. It's those spirits that protect you now. And what does that have to do with the twins? The twins have the blood of spirits within them. What? Their mother was a forest spirit herself. She was a shapeshifter, and it's the heritage that allowed her children to offer you the forest's hospitality. Wait. Jariel, are you saying these two here, Althea and Shay, are the children of a shapeshifter? The same shapeshifter you all knew for so many years. You all loved and treasured as a friend, a boon to your community. So the twins are actually half beasts? Hey! They are half spirit, Counselor, and it's because of them that you all... Get them away from here! Captain Denarius, get these beasts out of my eyes! Now wait, didn't you listen to what I just told? Counselor, I must object. Althea and Shay have helped us all survive this winter. We can't just... I agree with Counselor Erroneous. Get them out of here! Whoa, you can't do that. We live here. No, please, come to your senses. No one needs to... The word of the council is law if we say they leave. No, Althea is right. You can't send them away. Oh, and why not? If you accept that Jariel is telling the truth, then this is not your home. It is theirs. You are guests in this forest. Guests of the spirits who have offered you safety and protection throughout winter. And a guest cannot order the host to leave his home, can he? You are right, Valus, he cannot. Good. However, the guest can choose to leave. No, please. And that is just what we will do. Captain Deronius? Councillor Elder? Assemble everybody. We will leave this place within the hour and return to Ninim. As you wish. And tell everybody that the twins and everybody in that company is no longer welcome in our town, and in the forest around it. No, you can't do that. He can, Jariel, and he just did, and I agree with him. You're all to leave the forest surrounding Ninim, never return. And how do you expect us to leave? Splitpole Pass is still covered in snow and ice, and it will remain like that for at least another week or two. Stay here at your magical clearing then, but you'd best be gone until we decide that we need the trees to rebuild our walls and houses. Please, everybody, be reasonable. You can all profit much from one another. Why part ways here? Because it was the shapeshifters who destroyed our town, Jariel. We will not forget that. It was the shapeshifters who kept you alive this winter, which is why you hear none of us demanding justice for the destruction of Ninim. But you cannot expect us to suffer the offspring of such unnatural beasts among us. Not after we've suffered so much from their misdeeds. Councillors, let us leave. Oh God, what have I done? Well, I'm sure you only wanted the best. I told the truth. I said nothing but the truth. Yeah, but you also gave away our secret, the secret we didn't want anyone to know. But I thought it was for the best. I thought if everybody understood that it was the shapeshifters who kept them alive, then no one would fear them anymore. Fear goes deeper than reason. This is one of the cases where it did. But I didn't want it to turn out like that. I really didn't want it to turn out like that. It's okay, Jariel. It's okay. We're not mad at you. We'll need to tell the others. They must know what happened here. I'll get them. Thanks, Shay. Shortly afterwards. So that is the situation. The council wants us gone. We're not to return to Ninim or the forest surrounding it, ever. Should we choose to stay and return despite that? We're their enemies. Very possibly. They are stupid. They are safe when we are here. They are not safe when we are not here. I have a question. Yes? You keep saying we. Who exactly do you mean by we? I mean, you don't mean all of us including Riley, do you? Well, in fact, I did mean just that. Why? I haven't done anything to deserve that. You can't just throw someone out for setting up a successful game of thimbling, can you? I think it's more of guilt by association in the eyes of the council. They see us as in league with the shapeshifters. But that's so unfair. Nah, this town was boring anyway. No decent volcanoes, not even a hot springs. Though this sauna thingy was rather neat. Rowinder's got the right attitude. If they don't want us here, then we leave. Why can't we stay here at the clearing? There's fresh water for all of us. Hunting isn't too difficult. It's not very civilized, but I think I could manage that. The forest likes it not. What do you mean? Too close to the heart of the forest for hunters with 2 legs. Hunters with 4 legs live here. Hunters with 2 legs not. But Moran lives here too. Have you ever seen me eat anything but nuts, mushrooms, and roots since you came here, Riley? No. I used to be a hunter, yes, but the only reason why my presence here is tolerated by the spirits of the forest is that I stopped taking lives and started living on the fruits of the forest. But we all hunted and ate lots of meat last winter. The entire town was here too. And that was an exception I was able to negotiate for us all. An exception for one winter only. The spirits will not be this generous again. I'm sure some volcano spirits would have been more generous. Let's go find some. Or you could all start living on the fruits of the forest. I usually do the same when I travel, since I've been planning to continue my century journey soon. What? I can't live on plants alone. I need meat to keep up my strength. Do you consider me weak, Shalasa? Or is that a bad question? Living on plants alone is not an option for me, I'm sorry. Another trait of your bloodline, my love. I'm afraid so. I see. But don't worry, every place in the world is good hunting grounds if you know what to hunt for. Sorry to interrupt this outbreak of wanderlust here, but I don't really want to go just now. Huh? But if everybody wants us to leave, at least I'd like to make certain that Ninim stays safe before I leave. I've already suffered so much. I can't really blame them for being more than cautious now. They'll be safe enough once they've rebuilt the palisade. Even a clumsy fool can defend a wooden wall. But they'll need time to rebuild it, and if we're not there to help, then they will need to divide their manpower into those who work and those who protect them. They have the town guard, and they'll need fresh wood and rock to rebuild everything, which means sending workers into the forest, and someone needs to protect those workers and the town at the same time. Really, unless I'm absolutely certain there's nothing left to endanger Ninim, I don't want to go. Don't the shapeshifters clear the forest of everything evil? That was last fall. What if something new appeared in the last few months? Well, at least it can't hurt to go looking, I guess. However, we better stay out of sight in Ninim. They're afraid of us, and fear leads to bad decisions. I agree with you, Ariel. Only a few of us should be going. 3 or so. A small scouting team. Sounds good. I suppose you want to be part of that scouting team, since you suggested it. I know this forest like the back of my hand. Of course I'm going. Now let's see who's coming with me. Any suggestions, Althea? Yeah, choose the first person who should accompany him. Ooh, I can send Artus, can I? Cool, send Artus. You want I come? Absolutely, Artus. You're the obvious choice. You're at home in the forests, and if someone sees a single wolf, no one will suspect a scout. Besides, those ears and nose will help us find and track anything that doesn't belong here. I am happy. Thank you. I make you proud. Ooh. Just don't give us away, okay? Yes, I promise I am quiet. Cool. Good. Choose a second member who should accompany him. If we're trying to be sneaky, I'd send Riley. Purely because he's an expert at illusion magic. Also gets in the hell away from the rest of us. Alright, that should work. Then we'll be going. Let's give the forest a thorough scouting. Good luck, and be careful. I'm always careful, you know me. I'm mentioning it because I do know you. Okay, so... You know, honestly, that's probably a pretty decent point to end this first video, because we're at about the 29-minute mark. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.